Welcome back to our new series celebrating the full release of Captain of Industry. We're playing on a very cool looking map, Insula Mortis, also a big map with a lot of challenges. Follow this series to learn how to master the game or just enjoy this fun ride. Let's dive in. And it's already episode 3, but don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to see full playlist. I've already covered quite a bit of tips and tricks, so you may not want to miss that. In the previous episode we started to store dirt or slag and a rock. Don't hesitate to check the previous episode if you don't know why, but this is quite important and it's really great now to see those trucks that can have multiple resources. I mean, I think this truck over here started with 20 resources. It had maybe 2 or 3 of dirt, it had maybe 1 or 2 of rocks, and the rest is iron ore. And instead of doing 3 trips, it's doing only 1 trip to deliver all of those resources. Now we can see though that we're starting to get quite a bit of reserves of iron. So let's also build one of these over here. We don't have yet any of the belt, but we can still start preparing for it by having those reserves and maybe also by building another one of these. But more importantly, it's time to make some diesel. Let's get started. We have unlocked a lot of new buildings over here, in particular the oil pump and the basic distiller. So the oil pump is to pump crude oil from underground. So as the name suggests, let's find out. Over here we have all of the oil underground. So we're gonna get started. There's some trees not too far. They say build 2, I'm building 3, you'll see in a second why. And then we're gonna want the basic distiller. But instead of putting the basic distiller right away, I'm actually going into storage first, make it a bit more cleaner. So the input is this way, so that's fine. And then we can put the rest this way. We do need some pipes. It's great that we have the pipes right away. And I'm out of construction parts. But at least we have 2 pumps that have started. So they are producing 18 per minute. And you can see the reserve there. We have almost 200,000 of reserves. So it's gonna take some time before this thing is empty, but it will get empty at some point. So there is a bit of a hard cap there. You need to be able, to get crude oil from somewhere else before this is empty, or you're gonna be in trouble. Okay, so now we have all 3 of them working and filling out this fleet storage. So this fleet storage is getting some crude oil. What are we going to do with that? Well, we want to put the crude oil into a basic distiller. And a basic distiller is going to take 54 of this crude oil, and 54, that's 18 times 3, which is why we have 3 of them, is basically equal to 1 distiller. So this is sort of the first layout you may want to build, but we're not gonna do that right away. For now, we're just gonna build one simple a pipe that goes from here to there. Then we're gonna store this diesel over here. We need a smokestack there. And we're also making some wastewater. So what are we going to do with this wastewater? We need to dump it thanks to this liquid dump. So you put it over here next to the sea. Sometimes based on the layout of the shore, it may not work right away, but you'll probably find easily a spot, right? Then we're gonna do up, up. And you can even select what will be accepted by this, because in a pipe you can have multiple liquids. So we're gonna accept this wastewater. Then we can build the whole thing with Unity. And the only thing missing is a bit of coal. Perfect, some coal delivered. So this will work. Start to make some diesel. The diesel will flow over here, we see it. And we'll also see the wastewater falling. That was a bit fast. Let's look for the next one. Here it is. That's really ugly. And obviously will create some pollution. Our people are not gonna be happy. But we have our first basic diesel production. So making diesel with this, our trucks can still start moving, things like this. Now, if we look at our beacon, we continue to get new people regularly. I mean, actually, there was some over here. See some more people, some more resources. Again, there. So it comes. At some point, you may be, oh, I don't have enough space in my city, or I'm not producing enough food. In this case, just pause it. Pause it, they will stop coming. That's as easy as that. And for the veterans out there, in the early access, there was a limited number. This is not the case anymore, because in the past you used to also find people sometimes in some of those exploration. Now you don't find them anymore on exploration, but your beacon is not limited anymore. You will always get new people from the beacon with decreasing returns. You will get less and less, or it will take more and more time for them to come. Now to continue making more and more control parts, we're gonna need iron and wood. We're producing that, but we also need some bricks. So far we've been getting our bricks from this abandoned communication station, but we're at 0 now. And we're at 0 because I also have some reserve there, but still we're almost done. So we need to start making some ourselves, right? And we need to start making quite a bit if we want to increase quickly. So in the general machines over here, we have the brickworks, and this is the production requiring the dirt, which is why I had, this loose storage of dirt. And so far, this dirt was just coming from over here, but we're not getting a lot of dirt, right? There's not a lot of dirt over here. It's more like rocks and iron. Good thing is that in this map, we have this small hill there. That's pure dirt, right? There's nothing else over here. So we can start cutting that. So what we're gonna do is we're now gonna create another one of these, and this one is going to be dedicated to dirt. We do need one more excavator, so let's build it. And let's use Unity to deliver right away. And then we press M to start mining this whole thing, right? And I'm pressing F because my goal is also to make this whole thing flat so that later it can be used for farming, for example, right? So let's just make it all flat. One excavator, maybe one truck for now. Maybe let's build actually one more truck. And we're starting to dig. Perfect. And then this truck is delivering over here. Perfect. So we're starting to have some dirt, right? Let's use this dirt into my brickwork. So we're gonna get the dirt, we're gonna get coal, but we also need water. How do we get water? Well, right now we don't really have a choice. We need to harvest the water from the rain. It does take a bit of space. Maybe let's put it over here for now. And we're gonna build 2 right away. Doesn't cost that much. There is a small reserve, you can have 30 of water inside. That's nothing. So we're also going to put right away a storage and then 2 small pipes. And it is actually raining right now. So hopefully that shoots out right away and you'll see, yeah, some water coming into the pipe. It's not gonna be huge, I don't want to lie to you, but it will be something and then it can be delivered over here. So it is, we have a first truck delivering water and the brickworks is starting. And with this, one more mission finalized. Now I want to build another small excavator, but we don't have vehicle parts anymore. We had 0 over here. So let's start making some. So building one new assembly over here. To make vehicle parts, we're gonna need some iron, some mechanical parts and some electronics. Good thing we have reserves of pretty much all of this, but we're not making yet electronics, right? So let's start making some. It's going to use some rubber and some copper. We have reserves of both of these. So it's not the end of the world, but it's also not perfect. We will have to start making both of those resources. But it's a bit of a catch-22 because basically I'm making this excavator to start getting some copper. So anyway, all good. Let's build this, get our excavator, and then we can start getting the copper over here. So this is the same as with the iron. There's a lot of copper that is underground. It's actually quite far underground, but there's also a bit that is overground. So we're gonna use this one first. Now, by the way, the tower that was over here, the abandoned tower, is completely done. We don't have anything left. And so now we're going to basically stop the iron scrap, right? We're gonna really start focusing on this main one until we get into recycling, and then we're gonna get a lot of iron scrap again. Okay, so we started to make some vehicle parts and some electronics and finish one more mission. But more importantly, those vehicle parts will be delivered slowly but surely over here so we can get an excavator. So we started to trade on the map, but we couldn't discover yet because we first need to repair the shipyard. And then we're also gonna need to repair the boat, by the way. We need 100 construction parts, we have that, but still that's gonna take a few minutes for the trucks to deliver all of this. See a couple of trucks that have arrived already. And now that this is repaired, we can click on our ship and repair the ship. Again, that's gonna cost a bit of resources. In this case, iron. Good thing we have a lot. We can also click over here for the auto repair. I would suggest that, usually we will have the resources and it's important for it to be always repaired. Once it's repaired, you need two things. One, they need a crew. So you can load the crew, 15 people, obviously it's 15 workers less. So make sure you have that. And then you're gonna need some diesel. You can see over here, 0 out of 80. You can have reserve inside the shipyard and you can actually even deliver it over there. So you can have, reserve there. Obviously my reserves of diesel are quite far away. So instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like this. Keep full, which means that they will always deliver some diesel. I mean, we have diesel there, so that's easy. It just delivers automatically from there. But if we didn't have this diesel, it would come from there, a truck would deliver it. And you can choose if it's priority 1, for example. It doesn't have to be priority 1 over here, but so we can keep it completely full. And now this is also full, perfect. So we can go on the map and start exploring. So we click on any of those and we will go explore. This is a certain distance. The ship is leaving the harbor and at some point it will leave this actual small map and get into the big map. Here it is. It is coming. You can see it over there too. Now it has arrived. It is exploring. The further you go, the more fuel you're gonna need. So obviously at some point you're gonna also need to upgrade your ship to have bigger fuel reserves. But for this first few, that's not too hard. And we have discovered something important. We have discovered an oil rig. Because remember, the crude oil, the reserves of crude oil on our island are limited. At some point, we're gonna need to start using oil rig on the map and a couple of other resources. Now, given that this is quite close, we can actually continue and explore another one, or we can go home. And while we're at it, let's go. But with this, we have finished another mission over here. Now, another location. We got some loot. It's not too bad. And our ship was, didn't have a lot of reserve left, so it's just coming back automatically now, which is a great feature too. It is raining, which is great for my potatoes, getting some water into the soil. But more importantly, I have now unlocked a new research, which is the crop schedule. With this, instead of choosing just one thing to grow, which is in this case the potatoes, I can choose different crops. So over here you can see the soil fertility. It is at an equilibrium of 47.5, which means that on average I'm going to produce 9 potatoes. Now if I put another rotation, which is to not do anything, my fertility will increase, right? For some months we're not going to do anything, so the fertility of the soil will increase. The soil will replenish itself. So it moved from, I don't know, what was it? 50s, I can check, 47.5 to 73.8. So that means when we're producing potatoes, we're going to produce more potatoes. The problem is for 3 months we're making potatoes, for 3 months we're doing nothing. So the average production has actually gone down from 9 to 7. So this is actually not a good idea for the potatoes, but it could be a good idea for other things. What we can also do is now we can have 1 potato, then 1 vegetable. In this case, obviously, we're going to produce a lot less potatoes, but we're also going to produce some vegetables. And it is actually increasing the fertility. Instead of, 47.5, now it's 65 because of the multicultural, the fact that we're producing different things increase the fertility. So it is actually pretty good. We're gonna do that. It's gonna give us 2 types of food to eat, so can't complain. Let's do the same over here, because 2 types of food will be good. We need another market though. We don't really have a choice there, because in market level 1 you can only put 1 thing, in this case potato. This one over here we can put vegetables. Now vegetables, they are actually stored in the unit storage, so we're gonna put this one. But yeah, we're gonna have the vegetables that are going to arrive there and will be then delivered to the food market. When that happens, we'll come back over here and I'll explain what it means. And of course we can continue to go on the map and look at other locations, but be careful. There's not only nice people on this map. Now we have found something else that's very important, a damaged cargo ship. Because how are we going to get the oil from the oil rig back to our city? Well, we need some ships. I mean, we can use our own ship, but then that means our own ship is not doing anything. So it's good to discover some cargo ships. They are damaged, so we're gonna need to repair them. But don't worry, that's not too hard. I mean, in this case, for example, this is 240 iron. We can do that, and then we'll be able to start using them. Now, to make electronics, we need rubber and copper. So it's time to start making that. The rubber is an easy one, at least to make just a bit. We can position it like this, close to our fuel reserves. We're going to connect the fuel depot like such. We have some wastewater that can just go back over here. Then we're gonna need a bit of coal. We're already delivering a lot of coal for this one there. And we're gonna get then the rubber. There is 2 recipes for the rubber production, some diesel plus sulfur or diesel plus coal. Right now we don't really have sulfur, so let's just go for the coal, even if this one creates wastewater while the other doesn't. And with this, one more mission done. So we have the rubber. What about the copper? Well, copper is with the copper ore over there. So let's build one more mine control, all of them next to each other, so it's easy to manage them. This is going to be copper. Good, we're gonna put one excavator, one truck, that the area is over here. And we need to create some mining designation. Oh, there's a hole over there, interesting. But basically we're going to press F to be flat and then do something like this. Here it is. We're starting to get some. So what are we going to do with this ore? Well, first of all, we should probably store it. So let's store it into one of these for copper ore. Then we're gonna need one of these. By the way, use the same. Like we could say also there, but then that's gonna be a mess. So instead, let's build another one. And we're also gonna want 2 of these. So we're gonna do this recipe. It is 24 molten copper. So over here, instead of the molten iron, we want the molten copper. And this is going to create impure copper. So now we have a new building, which is a copper electrolysis. It's going to take this impure copper, a bit of water, and gonna make the real copper. But as you can see, it's also gonna make less. So it's not perfectly efficient, let's say. And this is 24, and this one is 12, right? So it's just 1. Now, while our copper production is starting, we have started to deliver some vegetable. So now in our Unity tab over here, we are actually getting more Unity from the food. Because the more types of food you give to your people, the more Unity. I mean, you can see it over here. This is 0.15, 0.20, this one 0.3, etc. So each of these give a different amount. This is also increasing the health of my people. Giving 2 types of food, as you can see over here, is giving me +8. If we were to give the proteins too, I would give even more health bonus. The treats are actually treats, so they don't give you more health. They are actually bad for you, but they will give you quite a bit of Unity. And then lastly, you can see the consumption that is needed. We need 5.8 per minute, given our population of 246. This is based on the fact that 1 potato feeds 21 people. And same for the vegetables, but it's not the same for others. You know, others will have different consumption rates, but first you need to research them, right? We research the vegetable farming. Here we're gonna get access to the bread, then over here the corn, and also some of them will require a seed. You know, I need to find the seed on the world map before I can actually even research it. Talking about the world map, let's continue exploring. Oh, but in this case, not so great. We've met some pirates, and given we don't have any weapons, we actually lost. So the ship is coming back. We see some pirates over here. We see also their battle score, so sort of like their strengths. But again, we don't have any weapons right now, so that's why we lost. So we're gonna need to repair our ship. In the meantime, we have finished the copper production. So now we have a basic copper and rubber production to make our electronics. The ship is back, and as you can see, you know, it lost a bit of health, not a lot. So we're gonna deliver that because it's on auto repair, so that's great. In the meantime, you may have seen that I've started to empty the shipyard as much as possible, because every time I find some resource on the map, I need space to deliver them to the shipyard. Otherwise, at some point the shipyard is full and then it stays on your boat and then you lose your resource. So to do that, basically I've started to build more depots. We have over here quite a bit of depots, for example, for copper. Over here, some for rubber. Then we have a lot of wood over here. So, you know, there's more and more depots a bit everywhere. And now we have arrived at a very important milestone, construction number 2. This is where we unlock assembly electrics, but more importantly, this is where we unlock construction part 2, or the gold construction part if you wish. We right now have 0 of them, but the reason these are so key is that all of the buildings that are after, if you look at the groundwater pump over here, it requires 40 of those gold ones. The irrigating farms, it requires 60. The fuel station, 20. And super importantly, the conveyor belts. We can start to unlock the conveyor belts, but they will cost some rubber and some gold parts. So we really need to start making some gold parts. And these gold parts are the electronics that we started to make over here, plus normal construction parts. So it is normal construction parts and electronics, for gold construction parts directly going into my storage over here. And one more mission is done. And with that, as I said, we're unlocking a completely new part of the research tree, which in my opinion sort of ends over here, the research lab level 2, which will be another sort of key milestone. But before, I definitely want to do all of those things over here. Here it is, I've put all of them in the queue, with research lab level 2 being the 15th. That's gonna take a bit of time, but that's okay. And if we look at our next milestone, it is to start mining coal. Because so far we've been making coal by burning wood, which obviously is not so great for the environment, but also not so efficient, right? Like you have to first cut the wood, then you transform the wood, and you lose a lot, right? Like it's 18 wood for only 7.5 coal. It would be a lot better to mine the coal directly. We have some coal over here. Once again, sometimes it is underground, sometimes there's a bit of rock, but it's actually quite a lot. It's a nice mine. We also have another over here. So right now I'm cutting the trees there to get to it. By the way, let's say makeshift bridge is coming along slowly but surely. So slowly but surely our small city is growing. Remember that we are just a small piece of this big map, especially if we start, you know, terraforming and creating, you know, bridges everywhere. This is going to be a really nice map, but yeah, we have made some progress, and in particular now having some construction part level 2 and very soon some conveyor belts, we can start getting into some interesting blueprints. So don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below what is the first blueprint you want us to build, and for me to also share it in the Discord community. And of course, if you have any other comments, feedback, questions, don't hesitate to share in the comments below or on the Discord community. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.